Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining our new Nor'easter virtual event where we'll be talking about all things health and wellness. I'm really excited that you all are here tonight. To start with some introductions, my name is Iris Walter. I'm an assistant director here in the undergraduate admissions office. We have a couple people from student health services and counseling services here as well. Michelle, can you introduce yourself?
Welcome, Michelle Zelanik. I'm the Director of Student Health Services for you.
Thank you. And Lori?
Good evening. My name's Lori, and I am the director of our student counseling services both on Biddeford and Portland.
Great. So tonight we will provide the logistics of navigating our student health services and our student counseling services here at UNE. You'll hear from Michelle and Lori about their respective offices, but the focus is really to answer as many questions you have as possible with only a few weeks until you move in. We want to answer all the questions you may have, so bring it on. If you have questions during the Q&A, we will have a Q&A section, so submit those questions in the Q&A box. It's at the bottom of your Zoom toolbar. If you click on Q&A, it's right there. If you don't see it there, it might be under More and then Q&A. So submit all the questions you have, and we'll end with some final reminders. So Michelle, will you take it away?
Absolutely. Lori pointed out there. So, as you probably know, UNE has the Biddeford and Portland campuses. We have health centers on both campuses. We are staffed by nurse practitioners and physicians. The two family nurse practitioners and the family physicians see students full time, and they kind of split time between the campuses, but there's always at least one provider on at a time. And then I'm an internal medicine physician, and I also see students on more of a part-time basis. And we're also really fortunate to have a psychiatric nurse practitioner who also splits time between the campuses, does a couple of days at each site. A unique thing about us is that we've all practiced for several years in this community before joining student health. And so we know the area and the healthcare really well. And we do have connections of knowing who are specialists in the area, where we can refer folks to for things like if they need to see a specialist like a dermatologist or go to physical therapy. We feel really comfortable about connecting with community resources if we need to. So we're a sort of a unique setup. We are like primary care, but we're not primary care. By that, I mean, we do most of the things that you would get at your primary care office. We are able to do routine annual exams if needed. That includes things like pap smears. We are able to do routine lab work for things. We can do sexually transmitted infection screening. We can do the annual exam sort of screening, like if you need a cholesterol level, we can order that. Blood work we send out to a nearby laboratory, Nordex is what it's called. We do some testing at Student Health Services. We're able to do testing and get same day results on things like urinary tract infections, strep throat, flu, COVID, pregnancy tests. So there is stuff that we're able to identify same day. And we actually do carry some prescription medications for the common ailments. So if there's a urinary tract infection, we have the medication and the student doesn't have to worry about getting off campus to pick that up. We do urgent care. So again, if you think you have strep throat or flu or you hurt your knee playing club sports, we're happy to see you and see what we can do about that. I should note that we typically see most folks in person, but we do telehealth as well, as long as the student is in the state of Maine, where we are, we can do telehealth. And then the behavioral health care aspect, that is Rebecca, our psychiatric nurse practitioner. She works predominantly as a consultant. And by that, I mean, most of us in student health are comfortable with managing things like anxiety and depression and ADD. But sometimes there is a case where we're not sure what the diagnosis is and we need a little extra help, or the treatment that we have been trying isn't working so well, and maybe we need some more ideas about ways to approach a diagnosis or treatment. And that's where Rebecca comes in. And certainly at times she works closely with counseling services if that's indicated as well. That lovely picture, that a little white building is PETS. That's where student health and counseling are located. If the best way to describe it is if you're, heading down the hill towards all the main campus buildings, we're the first building to the right, kind of tucked away in the trees. But it's accessible from Alpine Forum just by crossing the street. There's a road right there. And of course, sidewalks, et cetera, coming up from all of the other campus buildings. We are in the basement of that building. There are windows and stuff. It's not, and like I promise you will see daylight when you come to see us. And then counseling is on the top floor of that building. We typically have sort of the routine Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30 hours. We prefer to have students make an appointment. You can request it over the phone with a secure message through the electronic medical record portal that is called Medicat. You probably have already gotten some notices from us about signing up for your Medicat portal. And you can certainly walk in to make an appointment as well. We prefer to make an appointment for a specified time. We want to make sure that we're dedicating the appropriate amount of time to address your needs. If somebody walks in and we happen to have some time that day, yep, we can see you. But again, we want to make sure that it's the right time amount for what you need. But typically we're able to get folks in, if not that day, the next day. I do recommend that you bring your insurance card. Student Health Services does bill insurance. So related to that, it's really important to know what your insurance benefits are, particularly in the state of Maine, if you are not from the state of Maine. So it'd be important to familiarize yourself with any co-pays, anything like referrals that might be needed, so that you kind of know what to expect when you come in. We do collect co-pays if your insurance requires it. Anything not covered by insurance, we will bill out to the address that's on file. Another thing to know about your insurance and related in part to our hours is most insurances these days have after hours or 24/7 coverage. For example, the student health insurance plan has available telehealth visits 24 hours a day for folks. So if there's something that comes up on the weekend or after typical hours, I really encourage you to use the resources that are identified by your health insurance. And typically that's on the card or on the website for your insurance provider.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Michelle, for sharing that information. Again, if you have any questions about student health services, send those in the Q&A feature and we'll get to them shortly. And now we're going to switch gears a little bit and talk about student counseling services. So Lori, take it away.
Thank you, Iris. So as you can see up there, it says provide free counseling services, but there's a plethora of things that we offer. And individuals come to us for a variety of reasons. It could be loss and grief. It could be self-confidence, test anxiety, communication concerns with their partner, with the professors, anxieties, depressions. So the old saying, soup to nuts, in regards to what people come into and chat about. Our goal is really to provide the strategies and tools that students need to be able to create successfulness and sustainability, not just in this moment of their of your academic career, but literally all through your life. We do work closely with Michelle and her team as well. So many times students will come to us, and what the clinicians are hearing may not be just behavioral health. There could be a medical component to that. So everything is confidential with us. And if we know we need to connect with Michelle and her team, we will have you sign a release so that we can dialogue and create some collegialism and continuity of care, as we say, for our students. We have two locations, Biddeford and Portland. And why is that important if you're going to be on Biddeford, right? However, if the clinicians are all booked up, if you will, on the Biddeford campus, we can see people virtually and connect individuals with the counselor on the Portland campus. as well. So as Michelle said, when you walk through these doors, you go downstairs, that's going to be the health center. You can't really see it, but if you're looking to the left of this photo, that is a door right into our counseling center. So in order to make appointments, you can, probably the easiest way is BC Student Counseling at uni.edu, and that's right on our website as to how to access us. However, you can walk in, and our office manager is always at that front desk waiting to assist you. Um, you'll be given some information, some forms to fill out. She'll ask you what days and times we're going to work for you, and then we'll try to connect you with the first available person. Average length sometimes is 7 to 14 days. Most of the time, we're able to get people in within a week. And obviously, if there's a crisis, then we move things around to meet the needs of the student. Our sessions usually go around 45, 50 minutes. And then you'll work with the counselor to determine how many sessions you might need and uh, go from there kind of thing, right? Um, we are a 24/7 service. So what does that mean? That even though we're open 8 to 4:30, our first appointment is at 9, our last appointment's at 3. However, anytime after, between weekends, holidays, 2 o'clock in the morning, if you call our main number and hit 6, it goes right to a live clinician. So there's always somebody available. I always say to people, please don't worry alone when there's support for you. The other additional services we offer, one is called, as you can see here, Well Track Boost. And what is that, right? Well Track Boost, it provides a free self-guided digital behavioral health. And it's a way for students to work on their own issues and schedule their own services through their devices. And it's English and Spanish and French, and it connects you with other individuals. That's also, there's a code um, to get to that on our website as well. And Together All is a 24/7 communication, emotional support platform. It's monitored by clinicians. It's a safe place online to get things sort of quote unquote off your chest, have conversations, express yourself creatively, tap into some things that might be able to assist you, tools, courses, that kind of thing. We really want to provide what we can for that for students, for you all to be successful, and for your health not to be a to get in the way of you being successful. We have there's a clinician that doesn't have her picture in yet, and the office manager doesn't have her picture on there yet. As you can see, though, we do have 3 clinicians in Biddeford, 3 clinicians in Portland, and we see students on both campuses, all of us. And then this fall, we'll have 2 mastered level interns, which means we'll have on some days 7 and 8 clinicians, which will provide more of an abundance of availability for students to get in and be seen.
Amazing. Thank you, both Lori and Michelle, for providing all that information on the important support services at UNE. We will now begin the Q&A portion of the evening. Our first question that we have here is, can I have 2 therapists at the same time, one being at home and one at UNE? Lori, can you answer this?
Oh, absolutely. Great question. So yes, students arrive at UNE having their therapists established. And because there is something called a dual relationship, and is truly unethical for us as clinicians to have 2 therapists for somebody to have 2 therapists at the same time. Now, that does not mean that when students go home on holidays during the summer, absolutely, to tap into their own therapist. They can still keep their therapist while they're here if that therapist is licensed in Maine However, the other question that we get, Iris, is what happens if I'm in crisis and I can't get a hold of my therapist? Then yes, obviously come into our counseling center and we will connect and see what we can do to provide that support that the student needs.
That's really great. Thank you, Lori. Our next question is, I am on my family's insurance plan already. How do I waive the UNE insurance? Michelle, can you answer that, please?
So the one of the easier ways to do that is go to the Student Health Services website, and I believe that is in the chat that you can see. And there's a drop down that says Student Health Insurance. And at the bottom, it says, click here to waive or enroll the insurance. Click that, and it will walk you through the process. What that shows is that there's some questions about the insurance plan that you have. And if you're like, yep, mine does all of this, you sign off and say, I think I'm good with my insurance. That gets sent off, and then you're good to go. A couple of nuanced things to just to point out about the insurance. The way that Student Financial Services does it is that the charge for the student health insurance goes onto the bill. When the waiver comes through, it gets credited. So a lot of people will look for it to come off the bill. It doesn't like disappear. It shows that the money is put back. So you'll see a plus for that amount. I know that sounds a little confusing. The other part of that, some nuanced things. If you have signed up for the electronic medical record Medicat, and you have uploaded a picture of your insurance to that, great. But that's not waiving the insurance. And so you still want to go to that website and click on waive or enroll in insurance. And for anybody who's logged on who says, you know, I think I need that student health insurance plan. Yes, if you do nothing, you'll get automatically enrolled in it. However, doing it that route, it takes a little bit to get your insurance card and get in the system, so to speak. So that's why clicking on that waive or enroll, then you can just do the process to enroll, and then you get your card and you're all set up that much sooner, and then you can find out about the benefits sooner.
Perfect. Thank you. That's really great information. But the next question that we have is, how do I submit my health information?
So that is going back to Medicat is the name of the portal. You'll have gotten an email by now from your UN to your UNE email, as well as your email that you've been using up until getting assigned your UNE email, and it will walk you through the process of how to enter into the Medicat portal. And then once you're in the Medicat portal, it will tell you what you need to upload. For everybody, we need that measles, mumps, rubella, and tetanus. And then if you're going to live on campus, a meningococcal vaccine. But all of that information is there. And let me certainly say, Amy, who is what we call a patient service rep, she's the one who answers the phone 9 times out of 10. Super nice. She can walk you through it if you feel like you're getting stuck with anything. Any one of us, if you have a question, call the numbers and you'll see them at the end. Email us. We are happy to help with folks get that uploaded. That's really important to do because on move-in day, I will be sitting there with our practice manager and making sure that people have what they need. If they don't, we'll make a plan to come up with it. We really want to get that on hand because state requirements, we need to have that for your safety and other people's safety. So we don't want anything to get in the way of move-in day or attending classes, anything like that. So we'll certainly work with you. So please, if you've got questions leading up to that day, we're happy to help with it.
Awesome. Thanks. Our next question is, will you release my information to my parents if I'm 18? And on that note, what if I'm under 18? Can you touch on both of those?
Sure.
I would say more you go first and I'll add.
Okay, because I just thought of another one as well, Michelle, regarding that. Unless there's a release signed, I cannot speak to the parents. And if a parent calls me and says, I'm worried about my student and I want to know everything that's happening, I cannot release any information. I'm most likely to say that when parents or caregivers call, to request information from counseling unless a release is signed. I cannot break that oath, if you will. However, if there's a real concern from a parent or caregiver about their student, it doesn't mean they can't give me the information, and I can listen to that information and take it under advisement if that will support their student moving forward. If the student is one of our clients, if you will, that sees counseling, then I can at least speak with that student and advocate that they sign a release if indeed they want the information released to their parent.
Very similar from our end. If somebody is under 18, we do need a minor consent to treat form that is signed by the parent. That becomes, automatically voided as soon as you turn 18. And similar to maybe some conversations you may have already had with your primary care physician, even when somebody's a minor, that doesn't mean that we automatically disclose everything to a parent or every conversation we had. So there is that, we can protect a lot of that information and we don't automatically share that. As Lori said, once you turn 18, you're an adult. And so if you want me to be able to talk to your mom or dad or aunt, I need to have that express permission, as Lori said. So the sort of good news is if your, mom wants the information and you prefer that she didn't, I don't release anything without that express permission. What you'll find is we have it's a form that we'll have people fill out, and you can actually give give us a little bit of guidance, so to speak. So if it's okay if like dad calls and makes an appointment for you, but you don't want any visit details, any test results to go, you can kind of check off those boxes for us. So we try to make it, so that it can support you and how you want to be helped by your support folks, but also recognizing that that's not necessarily something that you would want to apply across the board. And similar to counseling with Lori, anytime somebody signs a release or a permission, it can be revoked at any time by the person, by you. So if you want to change it, if there's a different person that goes on it, you want to change those permissions anytime, you can just come in and continue on.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you both. That was really great. We will now wrap up the Q&A portion of our evening and end with some updates, some reminders. So if you haven't already, join our class Instagram page, UNE Class of 2029. You can introduce yourself to other new Nor'easters, meet potential new roommates if you haven't already had your room assignments, and learn more about the class that you will be joining just in about a month. And for next steps, if you haven't already, please make sure to submit your final high school transcripts. Those need to be sent directly from your school to our undergraduate admissions office. And that needs to have the graduation date listed on it as well. And housing and dining contracts were due on July 1st, but if you haven't done that already, please reach out to the housing office as soon as possible. Similarly, health forms were due on July 1st, but if you haven't submitted that information, please be sure to do it as soon as possible. And then finally, before coming to campus, make sure that your emergency contact information is updated. We do have one final New Nor'easter virtual series event next month. It'll be Final Countdown, Ask Us Anything on August 6th. Really very open and just for you to ask us anything you have before you arrive on campus. This is the contact information for the Student Health Center if you have any questions for them. And for the Student Counseling Center, similarly, if you have any questions. Please keep in touch with us. We are all here to help. This is the admissions contact information, so reach out and connect with us before you get on campus, after you get on campus. And again, I'd like to thank you all for joining us tonight. I hope you really enjoyed it and hope you have a great evening. Go Nor'easters.